religious, and you better keep those two totally separate in your brain, man, because science has nothing whatsoever to do with religion. I mean, after all, science is based on facts that are unquestionable. Religion is just kind of based on, thoughts and feelings and beliefs. Science is material. Religion is just kind of immaterial. Science has all the answers. Religion causes a lot of problems. And they really think science and religion don't go together at all. However, we can easily see the limits of science, because science cannot answer fundamental questions of life. Those 4 fundamental questions of life, science doesn't have the answers to them. Who am I? Where did I come from? Why am I here? And where am I going to go when I die? Now, the way you answer those questions depends on how you look at this world, because there's a couple different ways to look at this world. Some people look at this world and they say, wow, it's amazing that a Big Bang made this world from absolutely nothing. We call this one the evolutionary worldview. The evolutionary worldview looks at this world and goes, there's no design, there's no designer, it's all just a big accident. That means you can do whatever you want in your life, by the way, because this worldview of evolution encourages us to believe that we are actually God. And we're not going to answer to anybody when we die. But there's another way to look at the world. The creationist worldview. Some people look at this world and they say, wow, what an incredible design. There must have been a smart designer that designed this. This one is called the creationist worldview. It says that God is God, and He's going to judge everybody in the end, okay? This worldview goes so far to say that every idle word you speak, you will be held accountable for. So you got the evolutionist worldview and the creationist worldview. Yeah, you got evolution and creation, 2 basic worldviews. Now here's the 2 worldviews on a timeline scale. Creationists say, about 6,000 years ago, that's when God created the heavens and the earth. Then 4,400 years ago, there was a flood that destroyed the world. Then 2,000 years ago, Jesus Christ was here. And now here we are today, waiting for God to come back. Compare that to what evolutionists teach. Evolutionists say 20 billion years ago, there was a Big Bang. Now, what exploded for the Big Bang? Well, they don't know. When did that happen? Well, we're not exactly sure, but about 20 billion years ago. Then nothing happened for a long time. We have a big old long period of nothing. And then, 4.6 billion years ago, finally, the Earth formed. Yeah, the ball of dirt that you're sitting on right now, that happened 4.6 billion years ago. And then, 3 billion years ago, guess what happened? Life came about. Yeah! You see, 4.6 billion years ago, after the Earth formed and it cooled down, it started raining on the rocks for millions of years. It rained so much that it made oceans on the surface of the Earth. And then the oceans, because of the waves, because I don't know if you've ever been to the ocean, they have waves there. Because of the waves, it mixed with the rock and made something called soup. And then 3 billion years ago is when the soup came alive. Wow! Then the soup found somebody to marry. And then it found something to eat. Cool. And now, here we are today, mankind. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, evolution at its finest. You're not impressed. Okay, fine. But that's what evolution teaches, okay? You got the creationist worldview and the evolutionary worldview. Now let me ask you something. If we believed in the evolutionary worldview, how would you look at life? How would you answer those 4 fundamental questions of life? Like question number 1, who am I? If evolution is true, who are you? Well, really, yeah, I guess that's who you are. You're just a little bit of soup, aren't you? What about question number 2? Where did I come from? If evolution is true, where did we come from? The soup. Or we can go back even farther and say a cosmic belch 20 billion years ago. Ooh. What about question number 3? Why am I here? According to evolution, what exactly is the purpose to life? Why are we here? Really, according to evolution, there is no purpose whatsoever, is there? There is no reason for man's existing. You got here by accident. Everything that happens is just the result of an accident. Wow. What about question number 4? Where am I going to go when I die? If evolution is true, you're not going anywhere when you die. You're going down into the ground, you're going to get recycled into a worm or plant or something, but you ain't going nowhere when you die. Now, if we believe in creation, we're going to answer those 4 fundamental questions very differently than those that believe in evolution, aren't we? Yeah, it's going to be a whole lot different. I believe in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And because I believe that, my whole outlook on life is very different from those that believe in evolution. Hey, suppose I were to tell you this. Did you know that if you were to kiss a frog, it would turn into a prince? You would say, Eric, that's not true. That's a what? That's a fairy tale. That doesn't happen. How many of you ladies got your husband from kissing a frog? 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. No, you don't get a prince by kissing a frog. That just doesn't happen. However, did you know that in textbooks today, they are teaching the kids that the frog could turn into the prince? That's exactly right. The frog really did turn into the prince. But the magic ingredient isn't just a kiss. No. You have to give it time. Billions and billions of years will turn your frog into a prince. So let me get this straight here. If a frog turns into a handsome prince and it happens quickly, well, then we call that a fairy tale. But if a frog turns into a handsome prince and it happens slowly, somehow we call that modern science. Does that make sense? I mean, you got to be kidding me, right? That doesn't really happen. Now, science in a dictionary is defined as knowledge that is gained through observation or study. Things that we can know because we can see it, we can test it, and we can demonstrate it. Well, then I got a question. Is evolution actually part of science? Let's dig in and find out. Definition number 1 of evolution. Oh, I forgot to tell you, there are actually 6 different kinds of evolution. Yeah. Evolution isn't just one big happy little thing. It's divided up into 6 different sections. Check it out. First of all, we've got cosmic evolution. That would be the origin of time, space, and matter, referring to the Big Bang. Well, if science is things that we can see, test, and demonstrate, let's find out. Can we see, test, or demonstrate the Big Bang? No, we can't, can we? Now, you're welcome to believe in the Big Bang, but you got to understand, that is not part of science, because you can't see, test, or demonstrate it. How about this one? Chemical evolution. According to chemical evolution, all the elements that we have today evolved from just hydrogen and helium. You guys remember the periodic table of elements, right? How many of you in school had to memorize the periodic table of elements? Had to do that? How many of you forgot it 5 minutes after you took the quiz? Yep, just like me. Okay, me too. Okay. But you got this periodic table of elements. They say all those elements evolved from hydrogen and helium. Well, you're welcome to believe that that took place, but you can't know that. You can't see, test, or demonstrate that. So really, chemical evolution is not part of science. Welcome to believe in it, but don't call it science. How about stellar and planetary evolution? How all the stars and the planets formed? Let me ask you something. Do we ever see stars forming? No, we don't. Some people say, yeah, we saw star formation taking place. Well, really, what they see sometimes is areas of the sky get brighter, and they think, that must mean a star formed there. No. We've actually never seen a star form, never witnessed that happen. What we do see is lots and lots of stars blowing up. Those are called novas or supernovas, and that happens about 1 every 30 years. Interestingly enough, we only see about 300 supernovas. Wow. Well, that wouldn't account for billions of years of stellar and planetary activity, would it? No, there's a lot of stars out there, a whole lot. Scientists estimate there are enough stars out in space so that every single person on planet Earth could own 11 trillion of them. You can have 11 trillion of your own stars. Go name them. Have fun. Enjoy. And by the way, those are only the ones that we know about. We don't know about the ones that we don't know about. That's a lot of stars out there. Now, you're welcome to believe that star formation is taking place, but you can't know that. It's a belief. It's not part of science. It doesn't fit. over there with science, okay? And do you realize this? With all the stars that we have in the universe today, scientists say the estimated number right now is 70 sextillion. That's the number 70 followed by 21 zeros. Whoa is right. That is a lot of stars. And they say all those stars formed in 20 billion years? Wait a minute. Do the math on that with me. If 76 trillion stars formed in just 20 billion years, that would be the same as 3.5 trillion stars forming every single year. Or 6.5 million stars forming every single minute. Do we see 6.5 million stars forming every single minute? No. That would have to happen for 20 billion years to get the number of stars that we have in our universe today. How about this one? Organic evolution. The origin of life from non-life. Do we ever see that happen? Have we ever seen something that is not alive actually come alive? You're like, yeah, in my refrigerator. No. That doesn't count, okay? I'm talking really a rock evolving into life. No, we've never seen that. Never actually, we've tried to test it, we've tried to demonstrate it, but science has come up with nothing. That does not belong on the science table. That is not part of science. The idea of life coming from non-life is a religious worldview. It is not at all a scientific worldview, okay? They really don't know how life originally evolved, how it came about, the abiogenesis. When did that actually take place, or how did it take place? They really don't have a clue. Then we've got one called macroevolution. Macroevolution would be changing from one kind of animal into another kind of animal. We've all seen this little diagram. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, humans evolved from the monkeys. Actually, now they don't say monkeys. They're very technical on this. They say primates. Monkeys evolved from primates, and we evolved from primates. But we split back at the primate phase. What's a primate? Whatever, it doesn't matter. That's just when it happened. That way you can't say, well, how come monkeys are still living? So we evolved from primates, get it straight, okay? But we see these kind of things. Do we ever see macroevolution actually taking place? No. Now, there's a variety of dogs in the world today. But that's all they are, is varieties of dogs. The Chihuahua and the Great Dane are both very different, but they're both still, if you consider the Chihuahua a dog. Personally, I don't. But it's possible that the dog, the wolf, the coyote had a common ancestor. But I guarantee you it wasn't a banana, okay? We don't see macroevolution taking place. We don't ever see that happening. Let's take a little quiz here. Hey, I got on the screen here a dog, a wolf, a coyote, and a banana. Right there in the front row. Yep. Which one of those does not look like the others? The boy doesn't count. Dog, wolf, coyote, and banana. Which one is it? The banana! Give him a hand. Great job, great job. Smarter than the average scientist today, I'll have you know. Finally, we come to the end. The end. The last one we have here is called microevolution. Now, microevolution is really not evolution. Really, all it is a variation. Dogs can produce a variety of different dogs, can't they? Now, is that really evolution? No, it's just a simple variation. This one is actually scientific, because science is things that we can see, test, and demonstrate, right? Now, can we see, test, or demonstrate the dog producing a variety of different dogs? Yes. So this one actually fits perfectly on the science table. The rest of the types of evolution are a religious worldview. They have nothing whatsoever to do with science. Now, the Bible tells us over and over, animals are going to bring forth after their kind. That's all they ever do, is bring forth after their kind. They don't make brand new things. Evolution, in the sense that they want us to believe it, macroevolution and all the rest, those don't really happen. It's interesting, teachers are told in the textbooks, be sure to stress that they're this 4.5 billion years old. Well, why in the world would they stress that? Instead, why don't they stress some real science? Like the first law of thermodynamics. There's some good science. The first law of thermodynamics tells us matter cannot be created and it can't be destroyed. It can only be changed in form. Well, if matter can't be created or destroyed, I got a problem. Because everything's made out of matter. You're made out of matter. I'm made out of matter. Everything is made out of matter. Well, if matter can't be created and it can't be destroyed, then we got a question to ask. Where did it come from? Where did all of this matter that we see today, where did it all come from? Ultimately, there's only two choices. Either somebody made it or it made itself. There's no other choice. Now, I believe in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Humanists do not believe that. Evolutionists believe that the universe is self-existing, that it was actually never created. Well, how do you get the world to make itself? That's a hard trick right there. How do you get the earth to just form? How do you get the universe to make itself out of nothing? Well, evolutionists were thinking about that for a long time, and finally they came up with an idea, and they called it the Big Bang. Okay? Tell me about your Big Bang. Here's what they say about the Big Bang, okay? Here it is in the textbook. Boys and girls, 18 to 20 billion years ago. That's a long time. They say all the matter in the universe. Do you know what universe really means? You know what you're really talking about there? The word universe comes from two Latin words, uni and verse. Uni means single. Verse means a spoken sentence. You really know what you're talking about there? Every time they say universe, they're talking about a single spoken sentence. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? The universe. We live in a universe, don't we? Did you realize we literally live inside of a single spoken sentence? I can even tell everybody what it was. And God said, let there be light. And it was so. We live in a single spoken sentence, just like the Bible told us. Anyway, 18 to 20 billion years ago, all the matter in the universe was concentrated into one very dense, very hot region that may have been much smaller than a period on this page. Excuse me? All the matter in the universe, sun, moon, stars, planet Earth, women's closets, everything squished into a dot smaller than a period on a page. That is a crowded dot. And really, really heavy. Guess what? That's not the first time that it's happened. It's happened before, and it's going to happen again. This textbook says, boys and girls, all the matter and energy will once again be packed into a small area. This area may be no bigger than the period at the end of this sentence. Then another Big Bang is going to occur. Yeah, it happens every 80 to 100 billion years. Well, then I got some good news. You don't need to worry about global warming. But look out for global squishing. You are going to get squished, man. This guy was brilliant. In order to write a textbook, you have to be at least this smart. He says, boys and girls, in the realm of the universe, nothing means nothing. Ooh, deep. He says, not only would matter and energy disappear, but also space and time. However, physicists theorize that from this state of nothingness, the universe began a gigantic explosion. Wait a minute. Did he just say nothing exploded, and here we are? And he put that in a science book? And he's calling that part of science? That has nothing to do with science, man. That's a belief system. That's a religious worldview, for crying out loud. They even put that same idea in major scientific journals. Scientific American, look what it says. The observable universe could have evolved from an infinitesimal region. That means a dot. They say it's then tempting to go one step farther and speculate that the entire universe evolved from literally nothing. Wow. This is what they're calling science these days. Putting it in major science journals. Discover Magazine did the same thing. Check this out. Where did everything come from? The universe burst into something from absolutely nothing. Zero. Nada. And as it got bigger, it became filled with even more stuff that came from absolutely nowhere. How is that possible? Ask Alan Guth, because his theory of inflation helps explain everything. That had better be one humdinger of a theory, if you ask me, okay? They call this science, though, and it just absolutely drives me crazy. That has nothing to do with real science. You say, okay, Eric, what happened to the dot? Okay, well, everything got into this little dot, right? And then the dot began to spin. And it spun faster and faster and faster and faster, and finally, the dot exploded. The Big Bang. Here's how they teach it on television, like Discovery Channel. Here's what they show the people on Discovery Channel.
A little less than 14 billion years ago, the universe was born in a huge explosion of time and space, matter and energy called the Big Bang. Tiny quantum ripples grew into dense patches in the primordial brew. From these, galaxies condensed. A stunning variety of sizes and shapes.
So, that's how it happened, eh? All you gotta do is make a video and everybody believes you. Well, in that case, I made a video. I decided if they can show their view of how the Big Bang happened, I'm gonna show my view of how the Big Bang happened. Here's my view.
A little less than 14 billion years ago, all the matter in the universe was condensed into a dot. The dot was very small, believed to be smaller than a period on a page. Then the dot began to spin and exploded. We call this event the Big Bang.
Whoa. What do you think, guys? That could have been how it happened, right? That's how it really happened. I can't figure out why Discovery Channel doesn't want to air my video. I don't get it. I was like, hey, I got evidence for you. Why don't you promote this thing? Hey, next time you talk to an evolutionist about the Big Bang, ask him a couple questions. Ask him something like this. Hey, where did matter come from? Who actually made matter? You know what he'll say? We don't know. or try this one on. Say, hey, where did the laws come from? You know, there are laws that govern our universe. Laws like gravity, centrifugal force, Boyle's law, Cole's law. That goes good with potato salad. We got all these laws that govern our universe. If evolution is really happening, how come the laws don't evolve? Why doesn't gravity change from day to day? How come you don't weigh 10 pounds more one day? You say, Eric, I do. Well, that's another problem, okay? But the laws are constant because there's a lawgiver that is constant. That's why evolution can't explain that kind of stuff. What about energy? Where did energy come from? In order to move things, it requires energy. Who bought the gas to run the Big Bang? How did that actually happen? It would take a lot of energy to squish everything in the universe into a dot that big, okay? Where did all that energy come from? They don't know. How about this one? You ever been on a merry-go-round before? How many of you guys have been on a merry-go-round? You know what that is? It's one of those things you go round till you puke, okay? That's what they're made to do. But if you ever get on a merry-go-round, or if you ever have a merry-go-round handy, you need to do a little science experiment. Oh, I love doing this experiment on a merry-go-round. What I do is I get 3 fourth graders and I put them on a merry-go-round. I spent the best 5 years of my life in fourth grade, so I love using fourth graders for experiments because they are incredibly tough and they're expendable. So we're going to use fourth graders for these experiments. Now, as we do this is just going to be really cool. The kids, the fourth graders, are going to go through 4 very distinct phases. We're going to put them on this merry-go-round, and we're going to start spinning the merry-go-round clockwise, okay? Now, the kids during phase number 1 are going to be screaming, oh boy, this is fun, let's go faster, faster. So we start going faster. Pretty soon, up around 30 miles an hour, we enter phase number 2. Phase 2, the kid stops screaming and is quietly concentrating on hanging on for dear life while it goes around and around and around. We're going to get going a little faster, up around 60 miles an hour. We enter phase 3. Phase 3 is where the kids start screaming again. Only this time they're screaming, stop! Let me off of here! But we can't stop. This is a science experiment. So we're going to keep going, okay? Pretty soon, between 80 and 100 miles an hour, depending on the strength of the fourth grader, we enter the coveted phase 4. This is what we've been waiting for. One by one, in phase 4, the kids will begin to fly off the merry-go-round. Oh, this is what we've been waiting on, man. Here, you got to videotape this because this will provide some very interesting physics, okay? If the merry-go-round was spinning clockwise, when the kid flies off, wah, he'll be spinning clockwise until he encounters what we call resistance. That's like a tree or a telephone pole or something like that. But up until that point, he's going to be spinning clockwise. Now in physics, this is known as the conservation of angular momentum. The conservation of angular momentum tells us if a spinning object breaks apart in a frictionless environment, the pieces that fly off will be spinning in the same direction. Conservation of angular momentum. You guys got that, okay? Well, then I got a question. If we all started from a dot that was spinning and exploded, shouldn't everything be spinning in the same direction? It should. But it's not. You realize we got things out there that are spinning in the wrong direction? Yeah. Both Venus and, well, they really ought to rename that other planet, but we got a couple planets that spin backwards from all the others. That doesn't make sense according to the Big Bang Theory. You realize we got several moons orbiting their planet backwards? 8 different moons orbit backwards around their planet. A couple of planets have moons orbiting in both directions at the exact same time. Whoa, 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 whoa. According to the Big Bang, everything should be going the same direction. We've even got entire galaxies that spin backwards. According to the Big Bang, these are anomalies. These don't make sense. How do you explain this stuff? Oh, well, I explain it like this. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And God did it that way on purpose, to make the Big Bang Theory look stupid. And that's what it is, man. It makes absolutely no sense. The Big Bang doesn't even fit with the science that we see today, okay? The Big Bang did not happen. Well, I take that back. Actually, we do believe in the Big Bang. The Bible says the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. Sounds like Big Bang to me, okay? So it just comes at the end and not at the beginning. Evolutionists got it a little bit backwards, that's all. Hey, another thing. If the Big Bang Theory were true, everything should be evenly distributed. But it's not. It's lumpy. You got clusters of stars and then zillions of miles of nothing. Hey, the Big Bang really is a big dud. That's all there is to it. What if I could show you, according to science, that the world is not billions of years old? Evolution says it's 20 billion years old. The universe started 20 billion years ago. The Earth is 4.6 billion years old. What if I could show you, according to science, that it is not billions of years old? Wouldn't that be interesting? That would kind of take the legs out from evolution, wouldn't it? That kind of all boils down to this. Creationists believe, in the beginning, God. Evolutionists believe, in the beginning, dirt. That's really what it comes down to. But they're both religions. Both creation and evolution are religious worldviews. Evolution is not part of science. No, 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 no. Evolution is a religious worldview. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next for session 2.